Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our final week. Let me send this out to a few people really quick on this here TikTok, and then we will get started. Thank you guys for being here on our last and final day. Thank you guys for being on. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. I've got a couple of mics on. Welcome to our final week. Hey niece, my niece is on. Hey girl, thank you for being on. We are live on TikTok and we're live on YouTube. Listen, this is our final week of our 6-week series, Building After the Storm or Building During the Storm, whichever you want to say it, whatever part you are in. I'm still building during my storm, and I am so honored that I have been able to spend these last 6 weeks with you. Des, can you hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I got a mic on specifically for TikTok, and I got one. Hey girl, my Ava girl, my other niece is on. Thank you, sweetheart, for being on. If you're on, just put a heart in the chat so I can see you on YouTube. Let me know you can hear me okay. Abe, can you hear me on YouTube? Just let me know. Again, if you don't already like, follow, and share, please do so. We will go over that at the end too, but you can follow me on all social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. It's all under I Honor Me. And then on YouTube, it's I Honor Me Now. So thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to get started because it has been a very long day for me, but I am thrilled to be here. And so, hey, beautiful people, I am DeVray Marie. I am the founder, honor coach, and empowerment coach behind I Honor Me, where we turn our healing into a habit, pain into purpose, and identify the power within us. Okay. And so tonight is the final live in our Building After the Storm series. We have gone over the 6 pillars, well, 5 so far, but we're going to go over the 6th one tonight. We've gone over self-awareness, self-forgiveness, self-love, self-worth, and self-expression. And this week, we have reached the anchor of it all, and that is self-devotion. And so, because healing isn't just about breaking cycles, that's a part of it, right? It's about what you build after the storm. And devotion is what keeps you standing and what keeps you going. Thank you for the likes on TikTok. I appreciate that. Again, let me know if you guys have trouble hearing me because I have 2 different mics going on. But self-devotion is not a one-time thing. And, just like I Honor Me is not a one-time thing. I Honor Me is not when you feel like it. I Honor Me is not a, oh, that sounds like a good slogan. That sounds like a good thing to do, this time or for this. No, it is a daily commitment to yourself, to your journey, to your life, right? And so it's not a one-time event. It's not just maintenance. It's not doing bath time. It's not getting a massage and getting your nails done once a month. It's a daily homecoming to yourself. The practice of saying, I belong to me. I am sacred and I will return to myself again and again. Whether I'm hey Kemp, thank you for being on TikTok. Whether I am doing good, whether I'm doing bad, whether I'm sad, whether I'm happy, I commit to myself and I honor myself that I will return back every single time. So tonight, we're going to talk about what it means to be devoted to your healing, even when it's not convenient, even when no one else sees it, and even when it costs you your comfort. Hey, Vibing with Me, my sister is in the room. Thank you for being here, sister. I appreciate your love and support. And so I think that last part kind of hits me, is being devoted to your healing, even when it's not convenient, when no one else sees it, right? And when it costs you comfort. Let's sit there for a second. When it costs you comfort. And I talked, about this all the time. And I recently talked to one of my brothers about comfort and how sometimes we stay in situations and make decisions and do certain things out of comfort. And we are terrified of what that change looks like and what not having that comfort. And again, this is I Honor Me. This is my community. This is me being transparent. Comfort kept me stuck in a lot of situations. Comfort kept me not choosing me. Comfort kept me not being devoted to myself and trying to make others feel comfortable, right? Because the thought of not being comfortable, the thought of change, and I have, very openly talked about change was something I used to struggle with, but change is inevitable. And the quicker that you understand that change is going to happen and you have to accept change, the easier it's going to be for you to navigate through your life. But I did things out of comfort. And again, we all like comfort. I enjoy a nice cup of coffee that makes me feel comfort, right? But maybe that's what you need to steer towards is something like that. But staying in situations, not honoring yourself, staying in relationships, staying in circles, staying at jobs, staying in, whatever it is, just out of comfort is draining. And it really will drain you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in every capacity. And so you have to choose and be devoted to your healing, your life, your honor. And even if it's not comfortable, even when nobody else is looking, even when it costs you your comfort. And so this final week of doing our pillars is sacred to me because I had to learn self-devotion the hard way, right? And that's kind of what I'm talking about. For so long, I broke promises to myself. I would tell myself, tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. I would say, oh, I'll rest, next week, or the way I grew up, you'll rest when Jesus comes, is what I used to be taught. And I had to relearn that that's not the case. Hey, brother, Freedom Through Music is on here. Thank you so much for being here. And I had to, kind of reflect on that because that's not the case. Tomorrow is not always promised, right? Now that is something that is very true. Tomorrow's not always promised. And planning, oh, I'll do that next week, or maybe next week I'll decide to honor myself, or maybe next week I'll be devoted to myself, or maybe next week I'll get out of my comfort level. No, because again, tomorrow's never promised. So I chose peace for others while abandoning my own peace, right? I showed up for everyone else's needs. I showed up in circles and relationships and made sure everybody else was good. And I remember one time one of my friends telling me, if I told you what you're doing, or this situation or this relationship that we were discussing, if I told you this is what I was dealing with, you would have a problem with it. Hey, my other niece is in the building. Hello, Bailey. Thank you for being on. And I was like, you're right. Like, if it came to you and my siblings know, like, I don't play about them. I don't play about my mom neither. Right. And my heartstrings. And so, but that same level of not playing about other people, I didn't have it for myself. And I did play about myself. And I allowed certain, boundaries to be crossed, certain relationships to cause me to risk or give up my own peace. Right. Just for the sake of what I thought was maintaining relationships. Hey, Anthony, thank you for being on. Again, I showed up for everyone else's needs, but didn't stay when it was time to sit with mine. I couldn't sit with mine. I didn't feel like I could. I didn't feel like, some relationships I was told that I was selfish if I sat with my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, my needs. And maybe you felt that too. That feeling of being last on your own list. And again, I used to think that was something that was honorable. I used to think that was something I was supposed to do with my life. I used to think that putting myself on the back burner, and that used to be a frequent term that I would use, that, oh, I put myself on the back burner. I'll get to myself when I get to myself. No, that is not okay. You should not say that. And I don't care if you're a parent, a mom, a dad, a sister, a wife. You are no good for any other relationship if the relationship with yourself is not consistent, healthy, and good. So you can't say I have to put myself on the back burner for my kids. No, because eventually you're going to burn out. Right. And then your kids are going to suffer. It's like I tell people, again, you guys know I'm a registered nurse. I tell people all the time that if, especially people that I have patients that have high blood pressure, and I see it every single day. And I'm like, if you don't take care of your blood pressure, you don't take care of your meds, and something happens, you stroke out or whatever, who's going to take care of you? Or who's going to take care of that person that you were taking care of over yourself, that you were prioritizing over yourself? There's nobody to do it. So you have to say, you know what? No, my health, my honor, my peace, my devotion has to be a priority, has to come first. I cannot put myself last on the list, right? And then here's what I've learned about self-devotion. It's not about being perfect. It's about returning to yourself daily, no matter how many times you drift away. And again, me being a perfectionist, type A person, I always feel like if I don't do things, I'm very strategic. I like checklists, I like planners, I like all the above. And I would tell myself, if I don't meet these criteria, then I failed, right? And I felt like I always had to be perfect at things. And so it's not about being perfect. If you think that you have to be perfect, I need you to erase that from your mind. I need you to erase that from your vision. I need you to totally get rid of that, because it's not about perfection. It's about the return, right? No matter how many times you drift away, as long as you return, that's all that matters. That is all that matters. So for me, it took um, small shifts, right? I had to make some small shifts. Um, so I had to say no without guilt. And we talked about this. And that's why I love the pillars of I Honor Me, because they just build and it just keeps adding on to what we already talk about. It's a constant reminder. It's a constant devotion, right? And so I got to the point where I start shifting and saying no without feeling guilty. I've said it before. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to give an explanation. I don't have to say anything else. No is it. And I got to the point, especially over this last season, where I've had to say no to relationships, where I have had to say, no, I'm not going to go into that environment. No, I'm not going to go to that birthday party. No, I'm not going to go here or go there. Why? Because I was risking and giving up of myself to be in these settings. I wasn't devoted to myself. So no, it got to a point where I had to say no without guilt or shame following, right? Journaling. And for me, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been doing that great with journaling, but I've been doing a lot of talking. And I've said this before about having trusted people in your ear, having a trusted voice. Thank you, Jay Wall. Thank you, Carlos, for being on TikTok. Having that is very important. And being able to talk to somebody trusted when you are hurting, where you can be completely authentic and honest about what is going on. And it's funny because again, this I Honor Me journey of doing these pillars, again, a lot of stuff has come up because I'm walking through this daily, right? And I'm at a place where I don't feel guilt or shame about my feelings, my emotions, what I do to kind of comfort sometimes. And so it's funny because I had a conversation with my brother who's on the other day, and I said, you know what, I told him of a situation, of something that I saw. Thank you, Rick, for being on. And he was very gracious, right? And he said, I don't know how you saw this, but and he started talking, and I said, oh, I'll tell you how I saw it. I said, I'm at the place in my life where I have to be brutally honest with my journey and what, my actions and the things that are occurring while I'm hurting, while I'm going through the process of building during the storm, right? If you're not honest with yourself, you're not honest journaling, you're not honest with somebody else, you can't do the work to heal. It's not possible, right? And so, yeah, talk to somebody and have a trusted voice, have a trusted journal that you can, do this on, right? So when you're hurting, journal. I journaled, or I talked to a trusted person. That was a small shift I did. I let myself cry in the mirror and still saying, I love you. And there are times where I've even during this journey, I've recorded myself just on my phone because I wanted to capture the real raw moments of what, hi Hadley, thank you for being on, of what I've been experiencing, the pain, the hurt, and not to do anything but be able to reflect back on it later on in my journey called life, where I can be like, man, I'm so glad that I honored myself in that moment, and I allowed myself to be vulnerable with myself, to be safe with myself, to rebuild that trust with myself, to be able to cry and let myself experience the emotions and feelings that I've been having. Those are small shifts that you can do to stay devoted to yourself, right? Self-devotion is not easy, but it is necessary, because when you stay even through the hard parts, you build trust with yourself that no one else can touch. And I can feel it. I literally can feel the shift of being in a place, trusting myself for so long, not trusting my voice, not trusting my discernment, not trusting decisions. And like I said on week one, you have to do little things to rebuild that trust with yourself, right? Keeping those promises with yourself, allowing yourself to say no without guilt, journaling and talking to a trusted person, looking at yourself and allowing yourself to cry and have your emotions, right? That's how you start to rebuild that trust with yourself. Hey, Ash, thank you for being on. So tell me this in the chat. Have you ever realized you abandoned yourself to keep someone else comfortable? Drop a heart in the chat. No without guilt. Yeah. Drop a heart in the chat if you have ever realized you abandoned yourself to keep someone else comfortable. And let me tell you, when I realized that, it was a hard reality. It was a hard check with myself. It was a hard, like, yo, what am I doing? Why am I making sure somebody else is comfortable while I'm over here suffering, while I'm over here just, you know, going through it on the inside, miserable? You know, why am I making sure somebody else is comfortable? Right. And again, it goes back to, you have to choose you first. And if you choose you first, then making yourself comfortable and choosing peace and choosing the right relationships is going to come as a priority. And if someone else does not feel comfortable, oh well, then either that relationship needs to change, I need to reevaluate that relationship, or there's something needs to shift or transition, right? You have to come home to yourself every day, and after everything that you've experienced, that you've gone through, and trust me, if I can be at that place in my life right now with everything that I have experienced, even just this year alone, I believe that you can too. I do, with the right support, with the right community, with the right mindset, you can do this. And so before we go too far deep in, I just want to remind you to have your journal out so you can take some notes, your personal journal, your I Honor Me journal. You can go to the IHONORME.store to download your free journal that coincides with the 6-week series. The affirmations are on there, the prompts that we're talking about and chatting about, it's all in there. It's free. So go to IHONORME.store to pick that up, or you can write in a journal yourself. Okay. I just want you to be able to have that. And so, what is self-devotion and why does it matter to I Honor Me? Self-devotion is daily, active commitment. So it takes work. It takes intentionality to stay committed to your healing, your truth, and your becoming. It's no longer showing up for yourself only when you feel broken. It's showing up because you now believe you are sacred. You know, sometimes we don't show up for ourselves or do certain things unless we're in a certain position. And oftentimes it's when we're broken, we're hurt, we're depleted, we're ready to give up, right? We don't realize that this is something that you do, whether you're happy, sad, things are going good, things are not going, whatever it is, it's a daily commitment. Yeah, you're worth showing up for. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to still show up even when you're broken. And I know that that might sound like an oxymoron because you're like, oh, I'm broken, I'm hurt, I've gone through drama, trauma, abuse, whatever, and I can't. No, but you have to show up for you. You have to hold yourself to a place where, like I said last week, even if nobody else claps for me, validates me, I say it and I do it, and that's what matters the most. Me showing up for me is what matters the most. And let me tell you, when I say sacred, I want you to understand what I mean by sacred. Sacred means set apart, deeply valuable, worthy of reverence. Sacred means you are not common, you are divinely significant just by being. And I think, you know, when we hear certain terms, and I'm a researcher, so I'm always going to look up terms and look up things, you know, and sacred kind of got me. And I think it's a thing of, sometimes we think, oh, you know, we hold certain people to a sacred level, or honor people to a certain place. No, you have to hold yourself as a sacred being, right? Self-devotion is the difference between emotional maintenance and soul transformation. Yeah. And so when you treat yourself as a sacred being, and you say that I am sacred, this is what you're saying. You're saying you protect your peace like it's holy ground. And again, I grew up in the church, and most people have some reference with church, or something that they high esteem or honor, right? Whether it be a supervisor, whoever, right? But for me, when I say I am sacred, I protect my peace like it is holy ground. And if that means cutting off relationships, making changes and transition, that's what that means. I speak to myself with reverence, not ridicule. I speak to myself with love. And again, I used to be my biggest critic. I used to talk to myself horribly. I'm telling you. But you have to change that because you're sacred, right? You make decisions that reflect your value, not your fear. I'm at a place, and I'm telling you, when it comes to work, when it comes to relationships, I am making decisions that reflect my value. I literally had a talk with a supervisor the other day, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to be 100% honest with you during this conversation because I have no reason to not be. And I said, I'm literally at a place in my life where I'm being brutally honest. Whether somebody feels comfortable with my honesty or not, I don't care. I'm being brutally honest about my worth and my understanding where I am now, and what my value is. And I said, I know I'm valuable, hands down. There's nothing that you or anybody else could tell me different. I know my worth. I know my value at work and outside of work, right? And so I told her, I'm making decisions now that reflect my value, not what you guys deem me as valuable. Hi, Audra. Thank you for being on. I'm making decisions that reflect my value, not my fear. And again, I'm at the place where I'm not fearful of her or anybody's response of me saying that, right? And she looked at me and she's like, no, yes, we value. I'm not at a place to thank you, but I value myself, and I'm not living from a place of fear or being afraid of if you value me or not. I understand my worth now. Yeah. And then I also refuse to give casual access to sacred spaces inside of me. You have to get to a place where you say, you know what? This person, this relationship, this environment, this situation is not worth that level of access to me. And I honor me, self-devotion is not about rituals. It's about choosing yourself with consistency, discipline, and reverence. Thank you, niece. Thank you, Audra. Thank you so much. You become your own safe place, or your own safe space, your own sanctuary, and your own home. And again, I know some people, when I say certain terms, might feel a certain way, but I think if you value and look at yourself as you have everything that is needed already inside of you, you are enough. And you don't have to look for other spaces to feel safe. You don't have to look to other people to feel safe. You can create that within yourself. You are your own home, right? And that's why, again, I understand that I'm the hack. No matter what environment I go into, whether it be work, personal, whatever, I've done travel nursing. It's funny because going into certain spaces, I already know what I'm up against. But because I've gotten, again, to a space where I understand my value, my worth, and I validate myself, I know it's me. And whatever I walk in, I will create that atmosphere. I will shift that atmosphere. My atmosphere changes. Brother's not on here, but I shift the room. I don't care what space because it's me. It's in me. I'm the safe space. I'm the home, right? And the crazy thing is, people know it. People see it. I think it's something that my family is gifted with, and I say it all the time, that people feel very comfortable talking to us. They feel very connected to us, and they cannot know us from a can of paint. Most people don't even know my story. And I've had conversations with people that said, you know what? I don't even know your story, but there was something about you that I felt comfortable with. I felt safe with. Right. And a part of it, again, is because I've created a safe space for myself. I've created a home for myself. And let me tell you, when you return to yourself every single day, multiple times a day, you realize, hey, I'm pouring back into myself, and I'm doing this because I'm worth it. And again, I don't need anybody else to tell me that I'm worth it. I don't need anybody else to tell me it's okay for me to do it. So let's get to our 3 key points. Devotion isn't motivation, it's discipline. You won't always feel like journaling, resting, forgiving, or checking in with yourself. But devotion says, even when I don't feel like it, I choose me anyway. And that's very hard, right? Because sometimes when we don't make the best decisions in our life, when life lifes us and things are thrown into our direction, again, we put ourselves last. We neglect ourselves. We dishonor ourselves. We say, you know what, you didn't do this, or you didn't get this done, you're not allowed to rest. And I'm telling you, resting has been such a thing on me for the last 2 years that I used to not take naps. I used to feel guilty taking naps, or saying, you know what, today I'm not going to do this. Today I'm not going to church. Today I'm not going here. I'm going to stay in and rest. I am going to honor myself by resting. And you won't always feel like that's okay. You won't always feel like forgiving yourself for something that you did to survive, or you just did while you're healing, right? Or you might not always feel like checking in yourself with yourself. Listen, like I told you last week, look in the mirror and say, girl, are you okay? How are you really doing? How are you holding up? What are you feeling? What are your emotions? What are your triggers? Why are you feeling triggered? But even when you don't feel like it, you still have to choose you anyway. And again, I'm at the place where I'm choosing me, even if nobody else chooses me. Even if nobody else shows up for me, I'm doing it for myself. And it is hard. I'm not telling you that it's easy. It is hard. But I am devoted and I am committed to showing up for me. Because guess what? And I'm going to get to it. But guess what? When you get to that place for yourself, then that's what you start to attract. Hey, Kelly, thank you for being on. That's what you start to attract, right? When they say, you know, how you treat yourself, that's how you teach other people how to treat you. And if you live from a place of honoring yourself, then you teach other people to honor you. And if they don't, then they have to be about their business and move on, right? It starts with choosing you regardless every single day. That's the deepest form of self-trust. Now let's talk, guys. You know, I like to talk in the chat. When was the last time you showed up for yourself quietly? No applause, no validation, just because you knew you mattered. When was the last time you showed up for yourself quietly? I want to know. And while you type it in the chat, I'm going to tell you a few things for me. Doing this 6-week series was a push. And again, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. It was a push, right? Because I get up really early for work. I've been up since 4 this morning. And when you work with people, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in customer service, it can be draining, right? Thank you so much, Vibing with V, for all the likes and the love, and everybody that's loved the live and sharing it. I appreciate your guys' support. And so showing up and being committed for these 6 weeks, and showing up even if nobody comes online, right? Even if I don't see anybody on YouTube, even if I don't see anybody on TikTok, even if, you know, people that normally support me are busy and can't show up, I'm not in my feelings about that. I appreciate everybody that's here, right? But I destined and I was determined to show up for myself in this capacity quietly, regardless of anybody else showing up. Me being here, me doing the work, me going through this, again, not from a place of being over it and through this. No, being in the middle of it, being triggered. Last Thursday, I told you guys, thank you, Treese, for being on. I told you guys last week that I was triggered that day. And I was triggered literally before I went live. Like it was actually earlier in the day. And when I tell you I had the thought of not going live, no, but I said, I'm still going to go live. I'm still going to go live because I'm committed to my healing. I'm committed to the I Honor Me community. I am committed regardless of anybody else realizing my commitment, because this is a commitment to myself first, right? Because I choose me. I choose me anyway, daily, and I choose purpose, right? And so the other ways in which I've shown up for myself quietly, like I said, resting, man, There are times on the weekend where I'm like, oh man, I could go here, I could go there, I could do this, I could do that. But then I tell myself, no, girl, you need to rest. You need to rest. You've been ripping and running for work and doing all that. You need to rest. It's time to rest. And guess what? Everybody doesn't always know when I'm resting. I quietly rest, right? Having those self-talk conversations of checking in with myself or forgiving myself. Yeah, that's what I do quietly. I want you to type in the chat, I choose me on purpose. I choose me on purpose. Regardless of if, again, anybody else does it, it's a daily act. It is choosing is an act, right? You have to be intentional. I choose me on purpose. Yeah. And then if you've kept a commitment to yourself, a promise to yourself this week, I want you to put it in the chat. And again, one of the promises I've kept for myself this week is to just listen to myself, listen to my body, listen to what I'm feeling. I've had to kind of redirect sometimes. I feel like I've had a little increase in cleaning and OCD. Like, and sometimes I have to tell myself, no, girl, just chill, just relax, just rest. You've had a very busy day. Just rest. You don't have to always be doing something, right? And so I've committed to myself and made a promise to myself that I'm gonna listen when I feel that, hey, it's okay. And I'll remind myself it is okay. It's okay to rest, right? So for this skill, this key point 1, I want you to pick one time of the day this week to do a 5 or 10-minute devotion to you. And this can be a journal check-in with the IHONORME journal, a mirror affirmation, a quiet breathwork session, or moment of gratitude. Yeah. And this goal is simple. I want you to keep it simple, but I want you to be consistent, and I want you to actually do it. And I want you to say, this time belongs to me. I honor me here in this moment. I'm honoring myself by checking in. I'm honoring myself by saying, despite everything that's going on, I honor me. Right? So key point 2, devotion looks like boundaries, not just baths, honey. Self-devotion isn't always soft. It's not always soft. It's not always getting a pedicure, right? It's not always about getting a massage. Sometimes it's protective. It says, because I honor me, I can no longer give myself away to what drains me. Huh? To what drains me. And it's not selfish. That's sacredness. And if anybody tells you that when you get to a point within yourself and you say, I can no longer give myself away to that relationship, to that environment, to that situation, to those things, because it drains me. It's not selfish. And I'm telling you, if somebody tells you that it's selfish, again, then you need to evaluate that relationships, because they probably think it's selfish because it no longer serves them. It's serving you. And if it's serving you, and if it's not the right people around you, then it's gonna feel like, oh, you're just this stuck up, or you're selfish and inconsiderate and all. No. And when you start hearing those words, those are red flags. Put a red flag in the chat. Those are red flags. If somebody tells you, when you start setting up boundaries and you start honoring yourself on a daily basis, and if it's to protect yourself, because things are draining, if somebody says that's selfish, that's a red flag. Yes, because I honor me, I can no longer give myself to anything that drains me. Yes, that's a red flag. It's not selfish. And I encourage you, if somebody tells you, and I've been told that before, that I'm selfish and inconsiderate, and I put others my needs before others, and I should. There's nothing wrong with that. I should. Yeah. And it's not selfish. And if you feel like it's selfish, and if you feel like, I'm disrespecting you or whatever, then again, I need to evaluate my relationships, because that's not being selfish. I'm talking from a place of saying I will no longer allow myself to be drained. I will no longer allow myself to be drained or to accept that. And I want you to think about this. What are you still giving energy to that no longer aligns with the version of yourself that's healing? What are you giving energy to? Are you giving energy to still cultivating or maintaining relationships? Are you giving energy to making other people feel comfortable? Are you giving energy to maintain peace? Are you giving energy because you're afraid of change? What no longer aligns with the version of you that's healing? Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if somebody tells me I'm selfish, if somebody says that they don't like my boundaries, if somebody is triggered by my boundaries, doesn't like my boundaries, then guess what? That situation, that environment, that relationship no longer deserves my energy. And it does not align to the person I am today and where I am going. And this can be people, habits, environments, conversations. You have to evaluate that stuff. If it's no longer aligning with the version of you that is honoring you, I don't need it. And it's okay. Again, and if somebody has a problem with it, then that means it does not serve them. And that's when you say, okay, and be okay with relationships changing. Be okay. Hey, strong girls, thank you for being on. Be okay with relationships changing. Yeah. Be okay with evolving. Be okay with growing. There's nothing wrong with that. If it no longer aligns with the version of you that the person that you are, the purpose, your goals, your aspirations, who you are, if it diminishes you, if it dishonors you, let it go. I want you to type in the chat, I protect my peace on purpose. If this resonates with you, type, I protect my peace on purpose. Yeah, I protect my peace on purpose. Yeah. You have to be purposeful in this season of your life. Yeah, you do. You have to say, you know what? My peace matters. My purpose matters. And I will not stop at any level or with any person because that matters the most to me. I protect my peace on purpose. And so for this skill, this key point 2, I want you to make a list titled, What My Devotion to Me No Longer Allows. What my devotion to me no longer allows. And I want you to do this because, again, I want you to be able to come back to it and remind yourself. Sometimes we have to be reminded of commitments that we make to ourselves. And that's okay. That's important, right? Life, things happen, daily, whatever. But create this list. I want you to write this list. And I wanted you to title it, What My Devotion to Me No Longer Allows. Let me tell you what it no longer allows. It no longer allows over-explaining. Again, I'm at a place where I will say what I need to say, and that is it. I'm not going to over-explain. I'm not going to give my energy, my voice. We talked about that expression last week, my voice. I'm not going to waste that. I'm not over-explaining. My devotion to myself no longer allows me to over-explain. It no longer allows me to ignore my intuition or discernment, whatever you want to call it. I for so long, I ignored my discernment. I ignored my intuition. I ignored the what God put inside me to warn me, to tell me, to show me. I ignored it. But my devotion says I can no longer do that. My devotion says I have to listen to it. I'm no longer going to overextend myself. That's not devotion to myself. Overextending myself for what? Hey, Tanisha, thank you for being on. My self-devotion doesn't allow me to consume content that triggers me or causes insecurity. If it's going to trigger you, you can no longer do it. You can no longer put yourself, your devotion is too important. If it's going to cause me to be triggered, and if you know your triggers, or if you know something's going to trigger you, don't even put yourself there. Yeah, Audra, I would love for you to DM me, or girl, you got my number. You can text me. I would love to go over that list with you. We could do it together. Yeah. My devotion no longer allows me to consume content. And guys, whether that is on social media, and there's 50 million social media platforms, whether that's conversations, text messages, phone calls, whatever the content is, I don't care. But you can no longer allow yourself to be in that space. It doesn't allow you to be devoted to yourself. If it's going to cause you to be triggered or insecure, don't even step into that space. Don't even look on their page. My devotion no longer allows me to be people pleasing at the cost of my peace. If it's going to cost my peace, I can't do it. I can no longer do it. I would rather give up the relationship if it's going to cost my peace. My peace is invaluable. It's invaluable. And it's funny because, when I Honor Me first started, one of the lives that I had done, and I was doing some work and some research and putting together what I was going to talk about, and it came to me, and so I started doing further research. Honor is the new currency. It's not about money, it's not about riches, it's not about all this. It's about honoring yourself. Listen, if you honor yourself the way you should, honey, everything else will flow from that. Because again, you're going to attract the things that you should be attracting into your life. When you honor your devotion to yourself, you say, I'm no longer going to over-explain, ignore my intuition, overextend myself, consume content that triggers me, or be consumed with people pleasing if it's going to affect my peace. If it costs my peace, if it costs my honor, if it costs my self-devotion, I can no longer deal with it. I can no longer align with it. I have to release it. Now, key point 3. Devotion is returning to yourself again and again. Now listen. J Fogg, thank you for being on. You will fall off. You will forget. You will be tired. But self-devotion says, no matter how far I drift away, I will always come back to me. No matter how far I drift away. And what you have to realize is that it's not failure, it's faithfulness. Even though life will throw things at you, transitions will happen, relationships will change, things will change in your life, work, whatever. You will be tired, but self-devotion says, I return to myself every single time. When I think about it, if I think I've fallen off the wagon, I haven't honored myself, I'm not doing, get back on. That's faithfulness. That's commitment. That's returning to yourself. Self-devotion doesn't shame you when you relapse. It welcomes you home when you return. It welcomes you home. Where in your life do you need to come home to yourself again? Not to start over, but to start aligned. And that's why, even with the title of the series is, building after the storm, and that's why I don't really say rebuilding, because I'm not starting over. I'm starting at a different place. And so because I'm starting at a different place, and because I'm starting aligned, I don't need to start over. Hey, atmosphere changers, my brother is on. I think it's my brother, or it might be my niece, but whoever, thank you for joining the live. Right? I'm not rebuilding because I'm not that same person. I'm not in that space anymore. I have grown. I've done the work. I'm healing. I'm evolving. I'm on purpose, right? And so I'm not starting over. I'm starting aligned. I'm starting on purpose, right? So where in your life do you need to come home to yourself again? Not start over, but to start aligned. Hey, niece, thank you for being on YouTube. I'm trying to help somebody, and I hope I'm helping somebody. This can be your spiritual practices, your body, your creativity, your dreams, your voice. Where in your life do you need to come home to yourself? Do you need to join a community? Do you need to take time to build that health and wellness with yourself? Because again, if you don't take care of your body and you're worried about everybody else and their health and their wellness and their life and making sure they're good, you'll drift. Do you need to come back to your creativity, your dreams, your purpose, your goals, your aspirations, your voice? We talked about our voice last week. And I feel like I could hit on all of these. And so I'm trying to be very intentional about these spaces, which is why the 6-week series has been so sacred and so personal to me first, right? This hits me first. I've had to come back and realize, where my spiritual life was and needed to be, where my health and wellness journey needed to be, my creativity, my dreams, my voice, and being okay hearing my voice. Listen, I talked about this last week, and I don't know if my niece is still on here, Destiny. I hope she's been looking at herself in the mirror this week and recording and listening to her voice. Audrey, you too. Because I'm telling you, I heard my voice the other day, and I was like, man, had this been a few years ago, I would have cringed at listening to my voice. Literally cringed. Like, ugh. Des, did you do the work? Did you look at yourself? Did you listen to your voice? Did you record your voice this week? Did you use your voice? That's what I want to know. Let me know in the chat if you use your voice. And I'm like, man, girl, your voice is beautiful. Your voice needs to be heard. Your voice shifts. Your voice changes. Your voice is impactful, right? So I've had to come back to or come to a place where I'm aligning with myself. Coming back home to myself. What does that mean, Des? What does that mean? I need to tell Auntie something. And you know what? It's okay, because like I already said, you're going to fall off the wagon. We fall off. We forget. We get tired. We get overwhelmed. But if you didn't do it this week, Destiny, I want you to commit and make a promise to yourself that you'll do it at least once this week, where you will look at yourself in the mirror and do affirmations, where you will record your voice and listen to your voice and get comfortable hearing your voice, because your voice matters, right? I want you to make a promise to yourself to do that this week, Des. And I'm going to check in with you. Yeah. I want you to type in the chat if this has resonated with you. I'm coming home to me. I'm coming home to me. And again, some people might not like that verbiage and feel like that's not good, but coming home to you is one of the most sacred and most important acts of honoring yourself that you can do. Yeah. Recommitting to yourself. I'm coming home to me. So for this key point 3 in your journal, I want you to complete this sentence daily. And again, if you don't have the I Honor Me journal for this 6-week series, go get it. It's free. The stuff is in there. It's at IHONORME.store. And I want you to do this every day. Hey, James, thank you for being on. It says, complete this sentence daily. Today, I return to myself by, right? And I want you to do this even if it's something small, like saying no, taking a breath, relaxing, journaling, writing down one feeling. If it's something small, I don't care what it is. I want you to write, today I return to myself by. Yeah. So the weekly assignment for our sacred return is each day this week, I want you to choose one intentional act that whispers, I am devoted to my healing. Then I want you to reflect with the journal prompt, what shifted in me today because I chose to stay devoted to myself. And listen, your devotion to yourself doesn't have to be dramatic. It just needs to be consistent. Somebody type in the chat, consistent. Just be consistent. Consistency is key. It's not about being perfect. Like I said, you'll forget. Life will happen. It's all that matters is that you get up and jump back on the bandwagon, right? And that you're consistent. So let me give you a few examples of what you can do each day this week to do an intentional act that whispers, I'm devoted to me. So you can wake up 10 minutes early to just breathe before the world grabs your attention. And I know sometimes you know, because I set my alarm and I get up early and I'm like, yo, I can't get up any earlier. But let me tell you, um, gradually do it. If it's 5 minutes starting out and then 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, but it makes such a difference for you to start your day committed to honoring yourself, committed to just breathing and meditating and praying and doing whatever you need to do before life starts to grab you at the horns, right? So wake up 10 minutes early and just give yourself that time. If you want to take that time to journal, whatever it is, if it's to listen to music, if it's to pray, if it's to read something daily to encourage you, do something that every single day for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And that is showing yourself that you are devoted to your healing, that you are devoted to honoring yourself. Another thing that you can do this week is say no without guilt. I already said no is a complete sentence, right? Say no without guilt. You can play a song that makes you feel powerful and dance in the mirror. And baby, let me tell you, I already tell you guys, music is my thing. I love all things music. No, sir, we will decline you. I love all things music, right? And I'm always listening to music. I usually listen to music when I'm getting ready. I don't care how early it is. I'm always listening to music. I listen to music on the way to work. Now I will change my music, right? And sometimes, and be careful, because sometimes listening to certain things can trigger you. Certain things can put you in a different space. But I got an instrumental on right now. I love listening to instrumentals. I love just listening to instruments, and sometimes I want to hear words, right? And let me tell y'all, Chris Brown is my friend, and so you know, he's got a new song out, a new dance challenge, and guess what? I've been playing that and doing the dance challenge with myself, looking at myself in the mirror. I've been watching the tutorials on how to do the Depends challenge, and baby, I'm doing that, and it makes me feel good, right? I don't care who likes it, if I'm on beat, rhythm, whatever. I don't care. I'm playing a song that makes me feel like, girl, you got this. It makes me feel I'm dancing in the mirror. I'm doing it for me. And that's what I'm saying. Get to a place where you do it for you. And not don't, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or feels, right? If it makes you feel good, if it puts a smile on your face, do it this week. Go to bed early without finishing a to-do list. And let me tell you, that's hard for me because I am a to-do list person. I am a checklist person. I love planners, all things planners. And so going to bed, and with my current job, I have to get up so early. And there are times where I have to tell myself, girl, go to bed. Go to bed. Don't have FOMO. I used to deal with FOMO, not going to bed, you know, at a decent time, and thinking I needed to stay up late and I need to do all this stuff and I need to do all this, get my checklist done. No, I want you guys, somebody on this live tonight, go to bed early without finishing your to-do list. Go to bed early without feeling guilty. And I promise you, you're going to wake up feeling so rested and refreshed. Now, last night was a little crazy with our weather and kind of woke me up during my sleep. But when I tell you, I smile, it brings a smile to my face when I know I've done something like that for myself, because not only is it honoring myself, but it helps set me up for the next day, right? It gives me the energy I need to get through the next day. Staying up and trying to, you know, do everything, it's not beneficial. And I used to think, oh, if I got 4 or 3 hours of sleep, I was good. No. It's not. Your body needs more. And I've said it before. If you don't rest, your body will make you rest. Do not let your body get to that point where it makes you rest. So go to bed early without finishing a to-do list and without feeling guilty. Another thing you could do is write a letter to your future self promising to stay committed. Yeah. And so I didn't write a letter to myself, but I promised myself, and I promised trusted people that I talked to, that these last 6 weeks I was going to, and it was hard, right? Because every time I feel like you commit to yourself and say, I'm going to do something. Hey, Tom, thank you for being on. I feel like you're challenged, right? Like, are you really going to do it? Are you really going to show up? Are you really going to stay committed? Are you really going to, you know, show up for you and others? And I have all my lives on YouTube, on TikTok, that validates that I made a promise and I kept to my promise and I kept to that commitment. And so that's that, like I said, developing that trust with yourself. So write a letter. You can write a letter to your future self, promising that you stay committed to being consistent, that you stay committed to honoring yourself, that you stay committed to doing the I Honor Me pillars and staying devoted to yourself, right? So I just want to encourage you guys that self-devotion is not about being perfect. It's about choosing yourself on purpose every day in small sacred ways, no matter if somebody's watching, cheering you on, validating you, or acknowledges what you're doing. Because when you live like you're sacred, you start to attract, build, and protect what's sacred to you. And that's what I was saying. Once you start living from this place, once you start saying, I'm going to disconnect from what drains me, what takes my peace away, what no longer serves me. Once you start living from that space, then you start attracting what you need to attract. You're able to build, be aligned, be on purpose. Self-devotion isn't perfection, it's presence. And it's funny because I literally had a conversation with my brother today, actually, and it was from a song he had heard that he really likes. And it is so, significant. And I've said it to my brothers, both of my brothers, and I've said it to my sisters too. But on Father's Day, I always acknowledge my brothers, and one of the things I always make sure I say, because it's true, is their presence in their children's lives and how significant and important that is. And it's not about being perfect. And my brother was talking about he likes this song, and this guy wrote a song about somewhere in the lyrics, it's about presence, not being a perfect dad. It's about being a present dad, not a perfect dad. The same thing about self-devotion. It's not about being a perfect DeVray. It's not about being a perfect Destiny, Audra, Valina, Ava. It's not about being perfect, right? It's about being present. It's about being consistent. It's about being intentional. It's about showing up. It's about making the hard decisions. It's about honoring yourself. Being present is way more important than perfection. It's choosing yourself on purpose again and again in small, sacred ways. So this week, I want you to honor yourself by staying devoted to one thing. If that is journaling, listening to your voice, listening to your intuition, listening to your discernment. If that is saying no, if that is doing things on purpose, if that is being consistent, I want you to say, I honor me by staying devoted to me. I honor me by staying devoted to shifting what drains me, right? I want you to put in the chat for me what you are going to stay devoted to. I want you to say, I honor me by staying devoted to my healing, my self-awareness, self-forgiveness, my voice, my worth. What are you staying devoted to this week? For me, I'm going to stay devoted to all of these things. But if I had to choose one of even just from the I Honor Me pillars, is my voice. I'm going to stay devoted. I'm going to honor myself by staying devoted to my voice. Again, I don't care if it shakes. I don't care if it trembles. I don't care if it bothers somebody. I'm going to use my voice, and I'm going to honor myself by using my voice in settings that I don't normally use it in. If it makes somebody feel uncomfortable, I am going to stay devoted to my voice. I honor me by staying devoted to being comfortable in my, yes, niece. Yes. And I'm proud of you for that. And I'm telling you, it gets easier. And people think that it's weird, like I said before, talking to yourself or having conversations with yourself. No, you're weird if you don't. Okay. But the more you do it, Destiny, and anybody else on here that struggles with self-talk and hearing your voice like I have, do it consistently. And the more you do it, I promise you, the more comfortable you're going to feel. The better you're going to be like, yo, my voice is powerful. My voice is needed. My voice has purpose. My voice needs to be heard. My voice shifts atmospheres. My voice shifts rooms. My voice shifts me. My voice allows me to honor myself. Yeah. What are you going to stay devoted to this week? I honor me by staying devoted to my awareness, forgiveness, my love, because I need my own love, my worth, my voice. And Audra, I'm looking forward to your list of what you're going to shift this week from what is draining to you, um, and what you're going to change. Yeah, to honor yourself. Well, we are at the lovely time where we are going to do our I Honor Me, the affirmations for self devotion. I'm going to say them out loud and I want you guys to repeat them after me. I honor me by showing up for myself with consistency and care. I honor me by protecting my space as an act of sacred devotion. I honor me by returning to myself with grace, not guilt. I honor me by building habits that align with my healing. I honor me by keeping my word to myself. I honor me by making my peace a daily priority. I honor me. Put it in the chat. I honor me. So we have completed all 6 pillars of I honor me. Tonight we learned about self-devotion. It's not motivation, it's discipline, it's boundaries, it's coming home to yourself over and over again, day after day, sometimes morning to afternoon to evening. It's a daily commitment. This is our sacred return. Yeah. Healing isn't a retreat, it's a daily devotion. You don't have to be perfect. If you think you have to be perfect, if you struggle with perfectionism, you got to work on getting that out of here because it's not about perfectionism. Yes, ma'am. Audra, I will look for your DM or your text. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to return. You just have to be intentional. You just have to be consistent. And guess what? You're worth it every single time you do it. And every time you do it, I want you to say, I honor me. Every time you do something this week that is in alignment with your purpose or in alignment with your healing, your self-devotion, I want you to say, I honor me. Just say it. I'm telling you, it's going to start shifting something in you. Say, I honor me. I honor me. It's not about perfectionism. No, because I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And you shouldn't strive to be perfect. I honor me by staying devoted to me this week. So I'm DeVray Marie, your I Honor Me coach. I honor you. And I'm so thankful for you guys being on this journey and this 6-week series. If you missed any of it, let me know. This is the final night of our 6-week live series, but this is not the final of I Honor Me going live. And this is the beginning of our journey and our community together. I am working on other platforms for us to connect and build community more intimately. You know, I appreciate social media. I appreciate YouTube and TikTok. But I also want to build community more sacred, right? More aligned, more where people feel safe. You know, I've shared, I want to be able to share more and be authentic and candid with you guys. And so we are building community. So there will be more things to come. I will probably go live to talk about what we're building for the I Honor Me community. I will be dropping some more products and stuff for you guys to have. But this is just the beginning of our journey. This was a commitment that I made while I've been on my healing journey, my transitions, my building after the storm. And so I'm proud of you for being here. I'm proud of me for being here. I'm proud of me for honoring myself in this space. And I'm proud of you for participating and being dedicated to yourself on this journey. So please stay connected. Follow me on I Honor Me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook. What else are we on? And then on YouTube, it's I Honor Me Now is our YouTube page. And then our website is IHONORME.store, where I have free products, journals. I have a couple of things you can buy, affirmations and things that you can do to just continue to help yourself outside of our lives, right? Because it's important that you do the work outside of the lives. And so there are other things that I will continue to drop there for you. If you want to DM me or send me, if you have my number, you can always text me. Come on, TikTok. Hold on, guys. There we go. But let's stay connected. Like if you need to DM me or I will likely go live again soon and have some guests like I did before 2 years ago when I had I Honor Me when we were doing the lives, and I would bring some people on because I think it's great conversation, great dialogue. And so yeah, look for some more things to come, but some more platforms where we can come together in a more intimate setting. So I want you to remember that healing isn't a weekend retreat, it's a daily devotion. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to return. I honor me by staying devoted to me. And this is your sacred return. I'm DeVray Marie, and this series was your foundation to your honor journey, to your aligned life, to your purpose. And thank you for being on this journey with me. I honor me. I honor you. And I will see you on this journey and this path soon. I hope you guys have a beautiful night. Please do something this week to stay committed to your devotion, your self-devotion, and let's stay connected. Thank you, sister. Thank you guys so much for being on. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.